All
It's just
So
poison.
everybody just walks around strung out on fentanyl.
Exactly.
Well, you don't walk around strung out on it. That's the first thing to know.
Yeah, you lean over with your forehead on the sidewalk.
You've been gnawed off on it.
I checked out of the drug scene a while ago, so I'm out of touch.
But that's what I mean. Is what
We
I'm
got
saying
you,
is,
man.
like, I preferred having it, but like the whole me having to piss in a cup and like go through the rigmarole of once a month, you got to meet with the guy, and it's a priest class. It's like, no, fuck that. I'm a fucking adult. If you want to give me the drugs, give me the drugs. If not, this is fucking embarrassing. And as much as it sucks, I'll get off of them. But I will spend my sober life fucking railing against the injustice that I can't get a little bit of cocaine and a little bit of fucking opiates whenever I want them.
Yeah, but think of this: they can't stop rock and roll. They tried to ban that, but we could just
they can't stop what?
Rock and roll, man.
Nope, they can't stop it.
You can't stop rock and roll.
Rock and roll.
Hank fucking gets it. You're awesome, man.
You're the best, Hank. When we were having that Nogfest the other day, and that stupid pedo Illumitami ruined the whole thing, but I straight up said, "I'm all Hank's the one that I could actually hang out with, dude. Just go fishing or something. He seems like a good guy."
He seems like a good guy, but I think that he likes to stir the pot. You should see how, man, every time that people are fighting on panels, this dude is so happy. He just sits there cheesing.
Correct.
And then if somebody starts coming at Hank, you better let Hank handle it and not step in front of him, because Hank smacked me down on my own panel before.
Hank's got a verbal Aikido maneuver. I've seen it.
Two different ones.
And
We're
that hat collection.
talking about your dildos.
Yeah, we were talking about your verbal Aikido, not your sexual satisfaction, bro.
Michael, what?
I have two different ones of those too.
No.
So what's up with the satanic princess?
She drinks baby blood.
She changed her name. I'm proud of her.
Is she the one that turned Jeff gay?
Hey now.
Yeah, no, she just likes getting Tommy fired up, as if he wasn't already fired up.
That's why I have the hellscape thing going on behind me. Stupid.
In fact, me mentioning Paul my headlines probably pissing him off too. I mean, we're all doing it. Rage Monday.
You know what? It strikes me that you're probably part Asian.
Hey now, half my name's Asian.
Well, no, I think he's got that same thing where Asians can't pronounce L's and R's right.
Probably. Oh, I'm in Pittsburgh. I'm in Pittsburgh, so it's modified Pittsburghese as well. I mean,
you motherfucker.
I put on my satanic avatar. Just
Hank's one of the guys that hasn't commented on the diversity hire tag.
He covers all of them.
Everyone else has brought it up directly to my face. Why are you the diversity hire? Nobody's hiring white guys nowadays.
Yeah, exactly. Well, my company is the one I'm working for. But that's because we need the volume.
And I agree with this. There's no reason to think Tommy's a pedo. I don't know why I keep taking up for him when all he does is run around trying to send me to hell.
Because it's wrong.
Oh, you mean Peter Tommy?
Right. I mean,
you know what I need? I need to get I-Fi on with Tommy. I mean, that'd be hilarious telling each other they're going to hell.
I forgot. He did make that comment yesterday. So, yeah, I guess.
He made his splash on the internet by going, "Hey, guys, I had some special paperwork that allowed me to bang a 17-year-old when I was 29. Call me a pedo and I'll just hassle you." You're like, what? That's a weird way to come on to, like, everyone's thing.
Yeah, he's got some sort of a victim complex where he gives people ammo and then cries when they get shot.
Yeah, but he also shows up at Wet Blankets every channel like he can get on.
Yeah, and Wet Blanket Meta, I destroyed it. I just destroyed it all by myself. So just don't bother with it.
Yeah, there you go.
I just think PDF accusations are pretty serious and heavy, and I don't throw stuff like that around lightly. I don't think that people should be throwing it at Tommy like that. Just
I
my
agree.
opinion.
I got all my
Because
intel
it's
from
dangerous,
this
dude. There's all kinds of psychos watching. You never know. Somebody might be like, "I'm a pedo hunter. I'm gonna go find them and fuck with them." And just
Those
fucking
guys
don't
never do
leave 'em.
anything anyway, dude. They
Are you
want
fucking
to.
kidding? There's people.
Sometimes.
There's documented cases of people just looking up the sex offender registry and murdering pedos.
Well, that's
I
what I'm
mean,
saying. That's why I don't take him seriously, because I'm like, well, if you really want to kill a pedo, just like go on Megan's Law map and go kill one. Like,
well, yeah,
knock
and that
yourself
too.
out.
If he really was a pedo, he'd be on the list already. So I just,
I mean, that just
accusations
assumes that
on
he
the
got
internet
caught.
are silly.
Well,
It's silly. It's potentially,
So your
That's
bro
why they
dudes
got
with the
caught.
Illuminati.
you only get on the list if you got caught.
say that
though.
again.
Your bro dudes with Illuminati.
I'm what with Illuminati?
Bro
Bro
dudes.
dudes. Are you bros?
I don't even know what that means, and I don't know
That
the
means
guy.
you-
I've
you-
watched the
you
stream a
rub
few
each other's
times.
shoulders.
No, but he has a good point. Like his point is correct. Like I agree that you shouldn't call people that unless you've got a reason to believe it. And
Right. Thank you,
I
Flow
think
State. And
Tommy
welcome
just
other
Tommy
Jeff.
The
just plays
fingers,
the-
look, it's Jeff.
Tommy just plays the
There's more of us
attention
now.
card.
We're multiplying.
What is it? I'm surrounded by Satanists.
Satanists and Jeffs, Satanic Jeffs.
Yeah, I guess
I'm not satanic though, but
yeah,
maybe
that's what
one
I
day.
thought too. That's what I thought. And then
Speaking of walking wool, we got Jeff here walking back and forth.
Yep, that's gonna happen. Sorry.
Yeah, my chair spins like this.
That's your stimming. Nobody
No.
comments on yours.
Fucking the mustard drum DMC in top right.
It's because I'm too they call me stimming because I'm distracting with my complete offensiveness. I mean, I bounce all the hosts. I say I do what the hell I want. I mean, just today, I left Paul's panel to go on Jack's panel because that was Paul was saying to do people while he was stop the show to watch Jack's show. Then he tried to puppeteer me, but what he said was stupid. So I told him that I wasn't going to say it, and I think I triggered him. So
Paul tried to puppeteer you.
Well, he tried to feed me lines, but they weren't worth saying. So I told him I'm not going to say them because it's not worth saying.
Good for you. Yeah, I would pick Jack's over Paul's too.
for what?
But it was only one choice at a time. We're just doing Jack's show. So I did Jack's show on Jack's show instead of doing it on Paul's show. It just made sense.
Sasquatch still has the most satanic background of any of us.
You've got the Baphomet though.
Yes. Yeah, but
And he does look like a
second.
Corey Daniels
Hold on.
goat.
Let me do this right. I sold my soul to the devil. I'm sorry.
You are destroyed forever. And you will never be back.
Oh, that's what they think.
I feel like I'm on a tube full of demons.
I'll let them think that. That'd be hilarious. They'll be surprised.
so what y'all talking about?
We were talking
So-
about flow states avoiding incarceration and getting expunged.
Oh,
How I'm trying to help somebody else avoid incarceration, even though he's determined to go there, and Jack is using this guy's bad decisions to float his own personal interests.
Talcott is?
Yeah, like selling spirituality instead of giving people good advice.
Oh.
Typical Jack Talcott.
I mean, the guy really wasn't receptive to any advice, anything that you really said to him. He just kind of yelled back at you, and aren't you a man? And so on and so forth. And it was silly.
Did
No,
that
I'm a
happen on the
monster.
show today?
Yes.
Oh,
They
I'm
have
not a
to
man, I'm a
Jack.
monster.
I believe what he was saying was that he's standing in honor.
And I didn't see any of it, but Jack's defense, I've never heard him actually try to sell spirits.
You can't arrest me. I'm
Seems to
standing
try
in
to give it
honor.
to me.
Right.
That's
Whoa.
pretty much it. He said,
Why did my chat
man to man, and said man to badge.
It went to 3 because there's being streamed 3 places. So if you're asking why you saw it 3 times, it's because
Oh, okay. Sorry about it.
No,
I'm new
you're
to
good.
this, man. Thank you for explaining that.
I did the link on purpose, hoping that it would go everywhere. Because for some strange reason, YouTube doesn't let me pin my own comments in YouTube. But I can pin it when I send it. I can pin your comment, and I can pin a comment I send from another device.
Oh, it's weird. I need to figure out how that works because I did a stream.
Shut up, nerd!
You got me there, bud. You got me there.
You're getting pretty good at that, dude. Your timing's getting way better with those.
I'm getting better at navigating and I've got too many back here, and so I can't always find them on time, but my timing's always been dope.
I'm not sure it is a YouTube
Nobody's messing with
glitch.
you.
I got a notification that I was being removed from all of the experimental programs, and then poof, there was a lot of weird little things I couldn't do, like that.
Well, you can still block your ads.
Of course they can. Feel free. In fact, I advise it.
Grant, it was the dude from Jack's channel, Dr. Ake, who's probably watching now.
He said to call him Tony.
Tony, right. He's been here. I know that he's been here before. So, and I invited him over, but yeah, I'm the only one who is like staunchly trying to talk on the panel, who's staunchly trying to talk him out of turning himself in, which is absolutely the worst thing.
What was his crime? What's his charge?
He got raided a couple times for they took a bunch of weed plants. I don't know what he didn't say what his charges are, but
my speaker just went out. I might have to switch the headset.
When you say turn yourself in, you mean like there's a warrant out for him, and he's just trying to go.
He wants to go confess.
Yeah, there's no warrant. There's no warrant.
No.
They don't know whose pot plants they were, and he was just going to go tell them that they were his pot plants and to arrest them.
That's the dumbest. You know what this is? This is that daddy thing where people actually feel bad, like, oh, I did something that's illegal, therefore it's immoral. You're like, no, what's immoral is for guys with guns to show up with their like gay little badges and point guns at you and go, now you have to stay in my cage because you did something that some other people wrote down and said was wrong. That's dumb. Like you owe them.
Yeah, that's how laws work.
Honesty. You have no debt of honesty. You have the right and the duty to avoid their punishment at all costs because it's corrupt.
That's what I told him. I said, you have the obligation. You owe it to anybody who cares about you to try to not go to jail. And I don't even think he feels guilty personally. I think he's just, I've like I said, I've been in his situation, different continent, different substance. But I think he's just caving to the pressure. It's the pressure of being in sort of that limbo, the suspense of not knowing what's coming next. And I think that he's itching out.
Probably throwing him to the wolves too, like, oh, you know what you did, and then you start like internalizing it or something. It's like, no, have some gusto, stand up against it. You know, like what are you talking about? I have no idea what you're talking about. That should be his answer. I want to talk to an attorney. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, Blake, it's dumb unless it's stuff I scribbled down. Then it's smart.
I scribble down?
Yeah, if I scribbled it down, then it's good. But if someone else did,
what are you talking about, Hank?
Oh, laws.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, if I wrote them down, then it's good. Otherwise, they're bad unless I agree with them.
There's also
99% certain that the suspect is black.
Okay.
There's also a difference between civil disobedience and trying to evade justice.
Yeah, but when you say justice, what does that mean?
Balls, yeah, that is how law works.
The law, exactly, but who gets to say what the law is and who says what justice is?
Society, we do. Legislation.
No, we don't. You've never voted for a single law in your life. Not one single law have you ever gotten a say in.
You actually think the people have any say in the justice, quote unquote? Like, what are you talking about? You're not that gay, dude.
We have a say in our legislators, who we elect as legislators
What
to
are you
make our laws,
talking
local,
about?
state, and federal level.
Okay, so which laws have you helped enact?
I haven't
Don't
helped
say
act
all of
any.
them.
I don't have a problem with the existing laws. I've voted on laws.
Really?
You voted on
Of
laws?
course
Which
Yeah,
one?
here in Washington
But
State,
you're
they have a
also a
referendum system.
homosexual, and this is,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be mean, but this
I
is
have
like
no idea what his
very
sexuality
similar.
has to do with any of this. A
It's
conversation
because
about how
if you'll
laws
fall
are
for
made.
that, you'll fall for anything like Jew tricks, like the justice
Okay,
system.
all
All
or
right,
law.
all right, dude. Well,
Hey, let's just dial it back. This is YouTube.
let's just
Woo!
get
Oh, yeah.
started.
Like, we don't need to like. I know you.
No,
I know
just
Jeff. I know
I
that you
mean,
believe
I
all
I'm out here
the
trying to make you
ridiculous
some
things.
money. I'm just
I mean, like the
They'll
Ten
never kill
Commandments.
rock and roll.
I mean, the biblical Jews.
All right, it
The
doesn't matter. We can
laws
just
in
not worry
Washington
about this
State.
thing.
You certainly do vote on laws. People can get referendums on ballots that are then enacted into law. Some states have that
So why
system.
haven't you helped legalize heroin and cocaine?
Because I don't want heroin and cocaine legal. I help legalize weed.
Yeah, I know, but see, doesn't that seem a little bit odd that you would be like, oh, I deserve some weed, but like other adults,
I
they
didn't
can't
say
have
I
heroin and
deserve
cocaine? Like, it's
Say what I
arbitrary,
This guy-
dude.
no,
How is that a
here-
moral thing?
Here's the thing about Jeff is he likes paying taxes. He's happy to pay
I
taxes.
know.
Yeah.
Taxation is
That's all I
right.
meant by he takes it in the gut. You know, that's all I meant. Is it's the same kind of thing.
I mean, it's not that I don't see your logic. It's just terms and services and shit.
Oh shit! You're right.
Um,
I'm gonna mute
but,
myself. I apologize.
Jeff, where does law the source of morality?
No.
No.
What is the source of morality?
Human subjectivity and intersubjectivity, and that
So-
sometimes gets codified into law, but they're not the same thing. Law isn't always codified morality, and morality isn't always codified into law. So some things can be legal but not moral, etc. And some things can be moral but not necessarily legal.
Motherfucker. And just like that.
Hello,
you're
ladies.
top.
That's right. What's up, ladies? I heard y'all were talking about narcotics.
Balls unshaved. Code is a collection of
Balls
laws.
are
Laws
familiar.
get codified. Functionally, they're talking about the same thing. I don't know what the fuck it is with these soft citizens that they can't just look things up.
Well, it's not like you can just they're at a computer and you can just type something in to a search engine. It's not like they can just do that.
No.
That-
Or ask an AI.
Yeah,
Or
Google it.
read a book.
Yeah.
yeah. So they
Well,
have to come and tell you to do it for them because they're
That's
literate.
an ought, not an is. YouTube. Yeah, maybe some people think they ought to, but everyone's gonna have a different sense of morality. So whose morality should it reflect? Yours?
Yes,
I would
mine.
assume,
Mine's
I'm going to
specific.
assume balls unshaved that Black's law is going to work for you, right? Because I'm going to read you what the fuck a code is. I did this last night. A systematic collection, compendium, or revision of laws.
Or a listing of laws.
I hear people saying this shit all the time. So, and I retract balls and shaved. I retract my fingers. You don't deserve it, but I'm in a bit of a sassy mood because people are fucking retarded.
Yep.
What's
Yes.
next? Who's next? Chuck, don't fuck with me,
sir.
Chuck.
Give me
Hey,
some.
Chuck.
I was
Chuck is
I was-
like
I was
one of
pulling a jack on you.
Chuck
Oh.
is as chill as they come.
Yeah, you set me up good yesterday, you dog.
Hey, which edition do you want, dog?
Number 44.
Like it's like these people just like it doesn't matter what you show them; they're gonna insist that they. I don't know how.
Yeah.
Well, that's just like, what is it? The UCC. They try to take something out of the UCC. And if you go to that section, it says these definitions only apply to this section. But yet they want to use it universally.
Well, they already written it, so just using it as a library. It's like it's just efficient.
I think that this is the point. There's no such thing as laws. Balls unshaved, you don't have to acknowledge the law. You don't have to acknowledge something for it to be true.
Can I play peekaboo with it? Like, is it just cover my eyes, then it's gone? Peekaboo.
This is why I'm a big This is why I'm a big fan of cages and guns, right? Like, this is how you deal with animals. When people behave like animals, you throw them in cages.
In a cage.
Look at that. Would you look at that?
But you was asking about morality earlier, Flo. Society as a whole sets what's moral.
Not necessarily.
I'm
Like
talking
it's,
about
look at sexuality. It's sexual. A lot of people have opinions on sexuality, porn, sexual expression. None of that's necessarily illegal, but people have strong moral opinions about it.
yeah, that's
Joshua wants to
true.
throw 2/3 of the population into the volcano behind it.
I mean, I just go by what Carl and Sling Blade said.
What'd they say?
Two men ought not lay together.
Oh.
Well, I think they should. Just tell Carlos in my way, in my house.
It's
Was
okay
that
to
Billy
sit
Bob
there and
Thornton?
say. If they use a chair, it must be fine.
Man's okay. Just take him, put him in his closet, feed him some mustard and biscuits. Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about, Sass.
Yeah, you got a real pretty mouth too.
Sweet.
Sweet.
Make him squeal like a pig. Break him down like a shotgun and make him squeal like a pig.
I'm gonna make you squeal like a pig, boy. Sorry, Hank. That might have caused some flashbacks or something. My bad.
Oh, not for me.
I remember I was about, what was that, 17, 18. And I was in Georgia going to school, and a buddy of mine lived in Huntsville, Alabama. And every weekend we take off to his mom and dad's house there in Huntsville. And the second time maybe, he said, "Oh man, I got this club. This club is kicking, man." We show up there and I get out and I look at the sign, and the sign says Yum Yum Tree. I'm like, what the hell is it? Being deep south, I didn't know. So we go in, and it took me about 30 seconds to figure out what kind of club it was.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Yum Yum Tree comes with twigs and berries.
And the funny thing was, the guys that just looked like normal rednecks in there. This drunk dude come in there to get a beer. Apparently, he didn't know what kind of place it was. He looked around, he got his beer, and he looked around, and he hollered out, "This place ain't nothing but full of blank, blank F words."
Homosexuals.
And
Yeah. Then
you could have heard,
took his shirt off.
they
right?
unplugged the jukebox, and you could have heard a pin drop. And he shouted it out again. And they all started getting up. Well, he ran out the door, and I said, "We better get out of here." My buddy said, "No, sit tight. You don't want any of this." We wait for him to come back in. He said, "Now we go." Walk out. This dude's in his car, turned upside down in a big ditch.
They did not push him to that ditch.
I don't know.
Grown men picked that car up, walked it over there, and tossed it in. I guarantee you.
I got no idea. I think it was magic.
I've seen it happen
Gay
before.
magic.
Oh, these weren't no little gay men. Trust me.
Dude, in Georgia, you don't have little homosexuals. Usually, they are little. They play the game and appear to be perfectly normal, but they're the coolest.
Normal
people.
rednecks.
On the other hand, you have really big bull guys who will straight up go flaming because you can't do anything about it. They out. Those guys are fun too if you can catch them on the right day, not in the wrong day. If you get my drift. I mean,
well, they all get prettier at closing time.
I got
last time I checked, it didn't matter whether it was male or female in a bus station bathroom at 4 a.m.
Warm, wet mouth. The warm, wet mouth.
Is that why Flo State's wearing those big old girly earrings?
I don't know. You had to ask him.
That was the some prison challenge he did.
Yeah, I bet. Goes right along with his picture when he was molesting that refrigerator.
Yeah, I don't think Flo understands the charges he should have brought against him for that. First of all,
You seen it, didn't you, Sasquatch? Yeah.
I straight stole it.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, that's what on OnlyFans. The very first thing you see when you pop up is him in the refrigerator. Hey, my revenue's picked up 15%. I'm not complaining. All I do is walk on cakes.
Yeah, I thought he was posing prison pics there. You know.
What, Jeff? Why did you turn the conversation so gay in here?
That was I didn't. That was Sasquatch.
I know.
Chuck of all people.
You screenshotted my booty picture.
Yeah. Yeah. I did more than that. I use it for my intro screen.
I'm okay with that.
And it's increased my revenue by 15%. Because I'm pretty sure everyone that watches my OnlyFans is a gay guy in the first place.
Oh, Lord.
I mean, all they see is me walking on cakes. I don't see what the big draw is, but they do it. I mean, whatever.
Wait, you seriously walk on cakes?
What?
You neither confirm nor deny this.
What is happening?
Jack, welcome. Did you hear the smoke I gave you?
I missed that. I ended up having some. We talked more. Our friend from Australia.
Did you give him awful advice?
Yes, absolutely. He's surely on his way to prison now, even before he turns himself in.
You say it jokingly, like I wasn't actually throwing smoke at you because
That's
you're
up
avoiding
in
his situation.
I bring my own smoke.
I did hear you describe that, but I don't see. I'm not exploiting. The guy's free to do what he's gonna do.
I know, and you're enabling him by feeding into his bullshit. He's making a decision out of fear, and you're enabling it.
How do you know he's not making? Yeah, out of a conscience. His conscience is bothering him. Maybe.
Why would you? Because there's no logical basis for you. If which he does agree that that these are unjust laws. And he's even further than me. He thinks that they don't have any right to have authority over him. That he only answers to God. So why the fuck are you going in to answer to it then?
Yeah,
well, it's a privilege, and they earned it via their overwhelming force.
It means he has conflicting beliefs. He's in conflict.
Maybe he don't believe in secrets.
I mean, he's just like volunteering himself, like, just fuck me up, bro. Those are my plants. I did it. Come get me.
Well, the
I
way
mean, he's not even making them get them. He's going to them. It's just silly, man. Like, if they wanted to get you, they would get you.
Well, I mean, it sounded like he was going to court already.
It does. I mean, he's going to confess, so it doesn't matter what was, he's going to confess. There's nothing you could do more that confirms that they have authority over you, that gives them exactly what they want, that helps empower the system. They get money for locking you up. It's just every single thing about what his solution is antithetical to what he claims to want.
Spoken like a true anarch.
Well, none of us live over there, so
not all of us like the taste of boots.
Wait, let me understand this. He was making his claims based off of biblical stances?
Not necessarily biblical, but he referenced God a few times.
And he didn't like the idea of telling lies.
I think that's a cop out.
Romans 13 is pretty damn clear about it. Shit, like, you're supposed to do what the government tells you to do. There's a few exceptions.
I'm not Christian. I don't give a fuck what that book says.
Well, I was just his
phrasing it, though. The phrasing
That's why you're in the trouble that you got into.
No, it's not. I'd have gotten in more trouble if I followed that.
I mean, that seems like something the government would add in somewhere along the thousands of years of history.
Doesn't it? Oh, yeah, by the way.
Just sneak that in there. Yeah, every religion's actually supposed to follow the government while you're at it, Yep.
Yeah, I'm Josh. I'm glad I have you up here because on the Machine Lies the other day, I said Christian nationalism was sophistry used to control Christians. It's a mind control operation to control Christians by non-Christians.
The fuck is Christian
Control
sovereignty?
Christians by non-Christians.
Yeah, Christian nationalism. Christian nationalism, yeah.
And how's that supposed to
So
work?
that's a hard stretch with the mind control concept.
Yeah, so take advantage of Christianity to get people who are religious people just do what they want.
I disagree, Hank, because the government been fighting too hard against the religions in order to make it a mainstream problem.
How
That's
does
why-
this Christians do anything other than Christian things? Is my question.
I
How do
couldn't hear
what?
you over.
How does a psyop by the government about Christian nationalism get Christians to do anything? I don't understand.
Oh, it's not the government, it's by politicians that happen to be in the government or not be in the government at the time.
No, I can answer
You're
that.
talking shadow government.
I've never heard this, but it makes sense because Christian nationalism subverts the individual to government authority, more government authority, and so you just leverage Christianity so that you get that group of people to demand their subservience. It makes perfect sense.
Exactly.
Or there are people that can sincerely believe in Christian nationalism. Like not everything doesn't have to be a psyop.
It does. Everything's not a psyop, but
No,
just
but something. I mean, not everything is a total psyop, but most things are strategic.
How, based on what?
Based
That's
on
quite an assumption.
Oh, okay.
Do you think that people who are in positions of power aren't playing chess? You think that they just play checkers because
I don't know what they're doing.
Okay,
I don't assume that they. I don't assume that every person.
Well, that's
in power
why
sits
you're.
around
That's why
all
you're a
day
youthful
playing
idiot.
chess.
Jeff.
That seems so cartoonish to me.
Hey, Jeff, literally on this panel, our friend Joshua Jones is an atheist Christian nationalist. There you go.
Yeah, I'm aware. What is
So
it?
that's my point. They exist.
You think he's a psyop? I never said they didn't exist. I
Well,
know
why
plenty of
would
them.
why
I
else
never
would
said that.
atheists
I don't know.
promote
I think you're off track. That's not what.
Why wouldn't
Here's-
atheists promote Christianity if it wasn't for the leverage power? Of
I don't think that Josh or most of the people who adhere to it are psyops. I think that powers that be see useful angles and can push them that way.
Yeah, maybe they could. Maybe, who knows?
And so I think that the Christian nationalism push is probably not organic. The reason it went from you never heard anything about it 2 years ago to
right.
now it's
But
a
it could
prominent
also
thing.
be viral and mimetic. That's another possibility. Like how do you measure when something is organic and when it's
I mean, ultimately, it doesn't necessarily matter so much.
especially in the age of social media where everything's mimetic and can go viral and
Yeah,
everybody's in control of that.
I suppose it doesn't really matter to me, and I guess I'm not really even making that claim. I don't think
Christian
Well, just
Christian
remember Ruby
nationalism is
Ridge.
it's mostly reactionary.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I think it's been purposefully used. It's been purposefully rolled out, this idea of Christian nationalism. You can see it especially in the way some of the presidents came out. I watched an interesting presentation, not specifically on this, but recently about how when Carter came in, he was like the useful idiot that wasn't inside the system. And he was sold to the American public as a new start, something fresh. And I understood with the idea of Christian values. And then you got Reagan coming in, claiming the Christian values. And that's really what pushed the right, I think, formed the right into that Christian nationalism. But nationalism on itself, it creates a separation. And the only way you're going to have separation is if you recognize the state authority above ourselves. So this Christian nationalism, I think it's
a Trojan horse.
There you go. Thank you.
And the Hegelian dialectic, I mean, it's the Hegelian dialectic. These things are out there. It's I don't know why you would think that they're not using them when we can see it at play.
I don't know why you would assume that they are.
I'm not assuming. I'm just.
You have to make.
Well, they have examples of it with the ATF selling sawed-off shotguns to Randy Weaver at a Christian nationalist gathering in Idaho.
Even if that's true, you're extrapolating.
You have to extrapolate something.
Yeah, but there's intelligent ways to do it, and there's like just conspiratorial ways.
No, it's not a conspiracy. Just literally an atheist Christian nationalist on panel right now. You can ask them.
Hank, that has nothing to do with what we're talking about. I don't know why
doesn't.
you keep bringing that up.
Thank you.
Because you're splitting.
Hank, stop.
I just
stop
think you're confused.
railing. I don't know what you're doing either.
You're confused.
Well, just to say, I haven't seen the thing. It's right here.
I never said I haven't seen you're not tracking what we're talking about.
No.
You're
Hank,
way out of the
shut
weeds.
your mouth and just listen for a second so you can get back into the groove of the conversation and figure out what the fuck we're talking about.
Now I'm gonna go get some pizza instead. See you later.
Thanks for joining, Hank.
Oh my
Hank's the man.
Hank is the man. But sometimes he just gets locked onto something.
It's the autism. He gets fixated on irrelevant detail. And he follows a track that only he is on, and he can't connect it to the larger conversation that happens all the time.
Fuck,
Me and him
maybe I'm
fight
autistic.
constantly
Now
over
you
it.
got me thinking I'm autistic.
I don't think you are. I think you're ADHD. I mean, you're neurodivergent, but who knows how much of it is autism? Your social perception is too keen, I think, to be autism.
But I don't even remember what I was saying now.
We were talking about how the government utilizes Christian nationalism as a Trojan horse to infiltrate groups, and I kind of I felt like I blurted out, but I was thinking about Ruby Ridge and what they did to Randy Weaver.
Oh, well, and just
killed his dog, killed his wife, killed his son, and then dropped the charges.
I've talked before, about how I went. I was a Proud Boy, but I did not go to January 6th. But how it was. The guy who drove most of the people there for my chapter was a Fed. And like, they're just, I mean, we just got example after example of them playing both sides. So
Absolutely,
I don't know how, I don't know how anybody could
everybody
think
here could be a
there's
Fed.
not conspiracies. Go ahead. Somebody respond, because I'm about to start slurping down food.
Oh, sorry.
I just think it's faulty reasoning to us, like, because you have a few instances to assume everything is an instance of that.
But you have to make I mean, if you have to,
you don't
make
have to.
reasoning at all,
You could suspend. You could be skeptical until you have reason to adopt a conclusion, which is the.
I have reason to assume
a track record,
any tool
a
they
pattern.
have available to oppress anyone they can get their little wormy fingers into, so that they can derive as much value from you. That is to say, cash, labor from you as they can. They use every law, every tactic, every method, take all your rights, and completely ignore the fact that you're a human being.
They didn't take mine.
No one's doing this to me, so I don't have.
And you could look up J-Trig, which is I mean, there's you just have to look for it. There's so much evidence out there in favor of what I'm saying and against what you're saying, which is suspension of judgment. At some point, suspending judgment is a judgment.
But how do you know it's not confirmation bias or motivated reasoning? That because you're looking for it, you're seeing it in places that it's not actually.
Because I was looking, because I didn't get confirmation bias when I was looking at the Sov Sit stuff. I think the Sov Sit stuff is bullshit, even though I wanted to find it. I don't know. I think I'm a pretty good investigator, but at some point, if you refuse to make a judgment, even though you have evidence one direction, at that point you're.
But what you're calling evidence is just like circumstantial.
It's a pattern,
like a broad, but maybe not. Maybe it's poor pattern matching and knowing when a pattern applies to something.
No,
because everything can look like a pattern after a while.
Okay, if the federal government,
I don't know about this. There's too many groups. So here's the issue. So it doesn't really matter whether it's Proud Boys, Christian nationalism. Just go down the list of any group that you can think of. Right? There's always going to be some concept where a group is either going to oppose the government or try to subvert it in some format, right? It is the job of the government to infiltrate those and enforce laws. It just so happens that usually groups are that's their goal, is to make changes within society, aka also, resulting in changes in the government. It's just two sides pitted against each other based off of ideology or whatever it is, and then the government's going to respond to that. Flo's claim isn't really. It's more of a truism. It's always been that way.
They have the resource to infiltrate every single group on the planet. I mean, in the U.S.
I don't know about the resources. Not every group. I mean, obviously, there are going to be some that are going to get ignored or lower prioritized than others.
My life, and I don't ever walk in assuming that a federal agent has infiltrated them. Like, I have no reason to assume.
Satanic churches had two feds inside.
I would not have even crossed my mind. I don't know why they would waste their time infiltrating the Satanic Temple.
Because it's got political. Well, because it's got political stances that oppose some type of regulation within the federal government.
Actually, their political stance is aligned way more with Biden's agenda right now than probably
noted.
It doesn't particularly. Yeah, it doesn't particularly matter which two opposing parties, right? Both equally have their hands within executive branches that they can and often do fight each other. Sometimes the middleman.
I'm naive, and I think y'all are paranoid. So where?
I disagree that they're opposing branches. I think that it takes two wings to make the bird fly. They both answer to the Federal Reserve to continue funding the country.
Well, that's your crackpot theory.
I mean, that's not a theory. That's literally the way that government is funded is through the Federal Reserve. Both of them have the same master.
So your response to him explaining what he believes is to say that it's a crackpot theory because you disagree.
Well, yes, I'm glad you said what he believes because he's trying to pass it off as reality. He's trying to pass a belief off as fact.
No, it is the reality. The federal government
if
has
he
to
would
borrow
said
money.
this is my opinion of what I believed.
No, but it's not an opinion. I'm telling you the way that it works.
It's
Literally,
dogma.
No, it's not, dude. Where does money come from in the U.S.?
The Federal Reserve.
Jeff, I was asking Jeff, where does money come from?
Like taxes and stuff?
Well, that the tax goes to repay interest, but how does money get into the economy? The dollars get into the economy.
I don't know that. You would know better than me.
That's what I'm telling you. This is not my crackpot theory. This is the way that it works. The federal government borrows money from the Federal Reserve, which is a privately owned bank. Government does not fund anything unless the Federal Reserve Bank, which is a private entity, says it can. They all answer the same master.
It's deceiving. The name.
Who's the master? Because my research on the Federal Reserve said the opposite.
It's neither federal nor reserve.
What does your research in the Federal Reserve say?
Well, I'm going to start with the Wikipedia article.
I mean,
in fact, they have an entire article on criticism of the Federal Reserve where they take each one of these talking points.
I don't know. I don't think Flo's claim is all that outrageous. To be fair, that's kind of how stuff works.
To be honest, I'm not sure what his exact claim is because he's made several. Like
the government prints money. Is basically what he's saying. I believe the government prints money. Every time it prints money, it has to pay interest on the money that it printed before. So we just have to keep printing more money.
My claim is that
how is that a conspiracy or
both parties really work for the same master, which is the Federal Reserve. So they're not actually opposed.
I don't believe the Federal Reserve is not at the top of our governmental pyramid. We have three co-equal branches of government, and y'all are putting something called the Federal Reserve above all of that.
Do you know why?
Borrow the money from them.
Can you understand why it seems the Federal Reserve is above the three main branches of government?
I'm glad you said seems. So help me understand why people think it might be.
It's because the three branches of government have given money the power, and the entire government, the state, exists to protect the investments, the creation of the Federal Reserve. It's and it has gotten into the point where the left and right, all the parties, that's all they're there to do is protect the economic interests.
And I think that's one of the things that politicians are going to do, but that doesn't necessarily mean Is it because you think
Okay.
everything is centralized through the Federal Reserve?
You have no idea this is all a giant scam, bro. That
That's what we're
people
talking about.
that people use government violence and force to extract
Well, I
wealth
take it back.
out of
That's
us
not what we were
guns.
talking about. Go ahead with your tangent.
It's not a tangent. This is what the whole
That's
system
nothing.
is.
None of
Hold
us were talking about using. We were talking about the Federal Reserve.
Real quick to freak the Fed. It does. The federal government is not funded by Not. It's not.
Funded by taxes. No,
Interest
taxes.
payment. Interest. Basically, all federal income taxes go to interest payments on existing debt. To have current financing, we take out more debt.
But why do they use taxation to pay part of the interest on the balance?
Well,
To give
because
the illusion that our money still has value. Because if we just printed it all and the people didn't have to slave away, people would realize this is just.
But I mean, that is off topic though, because like I'm just trying to establish that there aren't two parties working opposite each other; they're working together. But
why do they have different platforms and pass different types of laws?
Their only differences are in trivial
It
wedge
doesn't matter
issues.
which party is in power.
Think about abortion. None of them really care about abortion.
How do you know what individual legislators care about?
Here, maybe I can break this down a little bit easier. It's take it down to the small man, right? Just your average everyday Joe on the side of the road, right? He needs money to survive, to function, to do whatever the hell he wants to do, whatever that is, right? Requires money. It's the same concept with a business. A business is in the business of generating revenue. It can only function so long as revenue exists. It has to have its hands in it. The larger organization, like a government, would have that same requirement. It can't function without the money. If the money ceases, the government ceases to go with it too. It just is the way that it is. That's why his claim is not really that outrageous.
Well,
it's
I
more of a
understand that
truism.
so far. It's the fact that
Right.
there's the conspiracy with the Federal Reserve at the top that I'm not connecting.
The way he words it.
I'm explaining the mechanics of it. Ultimately, if the Federal Reserve can cut off both parties equally.
Cut off how? Like, what do you mean? They could just
your loan is denied.
You don't know that central banks control the world, dude? You're not aware of this?
I think it's way more nuanced and complex
This is
than any of you are
isn't.
simplifying.
This is what
it is. You're absolutely right.
World, you can do whatever you want.
This is what the phrase debt-based economy is talking about. The fact that to have the dollar come into existence in the economy, they lent the first dollar, and the federal government owes them back $1.10. But that
it cannot be. It's impossible to pay it back.
Right.
That's exactly
right. It's a constant growth model. Our fiat currency is not meant to last forever.
Maybe if you can translate it into like something practical that impacts my daily life that I might be able to understand.
Basically, your money is always going to be worth less than it was the years before. That's what it means.
Right. If in order to buy
every year, your money is going to be worth less and less.
So that's the ultimate issue with the Federal Reserve.
I want to give the floor to Sasquatch. Get in there, Sasquatch.
When you go to the club, sex club, to buy your butt plug, it's going to cost you more. I'm just saying.
Just give me an example I could relate to.
That's what I'm trying to do. It's going to cost you more because of the fiat currency used by taxation. The taxation on fiat currency used to pay back only the interest and not all of it.
Is that just inflation? Like things cost more over time?
The interest from the central banks was not initially established by the existence of the gold-backed currency. It wasn't until
none of that seems like this giant shadow conspiracy to enslave humanity. It just seems like
you agree more. What? I don't understand. It's a sentence. I start, middle, end. We say it. Usually, when we're having a conversation, the other person listens for a minute and then
responds. All right,
yeah. Well, I don't know how many panels you've been on. But
are you over talking me?
What I'm saying is, whenever when you tax the source of money, you reduce the value of the money made. That is a part of inflation that is artificially induced because we've left the gold and silver standard. It's now a petrodollar and it's liquid.
So
Right?
is the objection to inflation?
100% of
the big
inflation is due to
I'm trying
printing
to
money.
understand the conspiracy.
You're stuck in conspiracy.
Y'all are complaining because your money is not worth what you think it should be
Well,
worth.
it's based on
It doesn't sound like
fuel.
enslavement of
It's not
humanity.
based on the actual assets available. It's based on debt. The debt is what gives it value.
But it
and the
still
debt can
works.
never
Like,
be
if you
repaid.
use money and buy things.
I mean, you just can't tell a guy. Yeah.
Look,
Can we take it? Can we take it back?
100% of inflation is due to money being printed. When they print more money, when you have more of currency in circulation for the same amount of assets, the currency devalues.
Wait, Flo,
And-
go back to you borrow $1 and it cost you $1.10. Go back to that. I think you were off to the right start and we derailed you.
Well, I don't remember where I was going with that, except to say that
That was just explaining the inflation.
How the inflation comes about. It comes out from
Yeah, but
original thing.
that's not what
Right,
Jeff was complaining about. Jeff was complaining about specifically about the
But Jeff
two-party
doesn't even
system
know what
working
he's complaining
together.
about.
Look,
That's what Jeff was talking about.
I wasn't
the
complaining
working.
about anything. I was trying to understand what y'all were complaining about. I don't have a problem
Okay,
with the system.
so you have the RNC or the GOP. You got the DNC. They're basically to hear Flo explain it. He's basically talking about they work together, right? You can word this in a way where it sounds conspiratorial. Problem is it's also got some grounding in functionality. It has to be that way simply because the bottom line is if for any reason the currency goes away, the money just disappears, right? Then so do both parties. Their survival is based on the government having money.
But when
It's
has
simple.
that happened or been in danger of happening? Like, you think money's just going to disappear?
Just about several governments have collapsed that way.
Yeah, it happens
That's
all the
all right.
fucking time. You just have to look out. You just have to look globally and over
I guess
time.
it's not something I'm worried about.
It's
as a
literally the
realistic
history
thing.
of the world. It is all of history throughout like modern era.
I'm not paranoid enough to think that the United States currency is going to suddenly
You're not even
disappear.
paranoid
That
enough
seems
to
so
really-
far-fetched.
This is braggadocious nonsense.
I mean, that's fine. You don't have to worry about it. It is happening. It is real, and it's why.
Okay, well, I don't see any effect of it in my life. So I
You
guess
don't
I'm not
know
gonna
what
worry
is
about it. We can talk
causing
about
what.
something
That's what I'm
else.
saying. You don't understand what's causing the effects in your life, and you don't care about it. Is what I'm hearing.
I'm not seeing money disappear. Like, I'm just.
Are
not
you seeing it get
happen.
devalued?
So unless Jeff sees it, it's not actually happening, everyone. So
And
that's
are you
cool.
seeing any discussions about CBDCs?
Nobody I know's money is disappearing. I don't.
Oh
this
my
is the
God!
first time I'm hearing
That's
about
inflation.
the possibility
That's
of money
what
disappearing.
inflation is. That's what inflation is.
Inflation is
It
hidden tax,
extracts
you
the
fool,
value
hidden.
from the money.
Inflation
I mean,
has been happening.
So wait,
I've
if
seen
there's
inflation my entire life. It
okay,
is
you have
not.
$100. Let me
It
try
doesn't look
this.
like a
Can I
conspiracy. It
give it a
doesn't look
try?
like a
Come on,
catastrophe.
Jeff.
It just looks like a normal
Let me give it a try. So if we
economic
all have
reality.
$100, right?
I am a
So there's
solution,
that-
Eddie.
So that's $900 between us, right? And let's say Joe Asshole shows up and he prints $1,100, right? Let's say one other guy just shows up and he gets out his printer and he doubles the amount of currency in circulation. He has stolen 50% of our value out of that money that we had to begin with. And you're just okay with that? You don't understand.
First of
how
all, I don't
inflation
think
is?
that's what's happening. And second of all,
It doesn't matter if you think it. That's the whole thing. Is
well,
you're
just
okay.
because you say it's
It
happening
doesn't
doesn't
matter.
mean it's happening.
I
Like, there's
can
not
tell
this
you-
little man in a room printing money just to make people's dollars worth. Like,
It's a lot of. Yes,
Oh my
yeah.
God, you're
That,
Hold
that
on.
is
Shut
so
up. Don't
insanely crazy to me.
I'm gonna tell. I'm gonna
Try
explain.
this.
It's no, you're not.
Okay.
No.
Are you over talking me?
Okay. Inflation happens when people print money to cover debts that they don't have.
It
That's the
happens for
government.
all kind of reasons.
No, it doesn't. There's one source of inflation, and it's printing more money into existence.
No, I don't see money. If you're talking about inflation and you're framing that as money disappearing,
Hold on. You don't know where I'm going. Don't try to
You don't
jump
even
ahead
know
of me
what
and figure it
inflation
out.
is.
the comment
Just
guy.
stay with me where I'm at.
Because that's like the eating the bugs thing. You're actually
You're
talking
trying to jump
about
too far ahead.
the
Stay
sustainability
with
of the
me.
meat industry, but it was framed as
Jeff,
eating the
we're going to
bugs.
get there one step at a time together. Inflation is caused by printing money. Do you agree or disagree?
I disagree.
What
You're
is a
stupid.
different
It's
source of
increasing the
inflation?
money supply. That's literally the definition of inflation. You don't
That's
even
your
get that.
definition that you're telling me.
No, it
What
is
is
the
it? No.
definition, dude.
Hey, I'm
doing
this.
Are you
I
over
feel that
talking me?
Increase in prices and goods and services in an economy over a period of time.
Why? I want you to give me a cause that's not printing.
Okay, let me ask the AI.
Look at this is wild.
Jeff, yeah, no, go ahead. Jeff, I put the restream button up there so that people can use it.
Oh, right on. I didn't really know how all that worked. But
Yeah.
I thought I'd just be nice and ask your permission first.
Okay, it's giving me a whole list of reasons.
And they're all
Demand
bullshit.
pull
But let's go.
inflation, rising wages and incomes, government spending, credit expansion, cost push inflation, supply chain disruptions, rising resource prices, government policies,
Okay, just
and monetary factors.
Look, we can knock them down one at a time.
So what I had said is I believe I don't think that's the only thing that causes inflation. I believe there's several things that cause inflation, and that is exactly what
you have is you have AI giving you a PR answer. Ask AI all sorts of PR questions or not.
Okay,
PR.
I'll ask Google or
whatever.
Wikipedia.
Here's the thing. Do they muddy the water on these sort of topics? Absolutely. Psychology and economics are the two topics that
You're
people
trying to
aren't
make
taught
me
about.
think inflation is caused by one
It
thing.
is only the only reason that money would lose value. How does this supply chain disruption?
Why do all of these websites that seem credible give multiple reasons for inflation, and you're trying to get me to believe it's only caused by some little man in a room with a printing press?
All of them dial back to one source. Think about it. Why would you said supply chain disruption? Why would that cause money to lose value?
Can I chime in?
Yes.
Please.
Okay, my answer that I got for what causes inflation is if the money supply grows too big relative to the size of the economy, in short form. Meaning government spending could affect it, but not necessarily.
I just asked it, is there a single cause for inflation? It says no, there is not a single cause for inflation. As you mentioned, multiple factors can contribute to inflation, and they often interact with each other in complex ways. This makes sense to me.
Jeff,
what you're
that
saying
doesn't
does not
say
make
anything.
sense.
You're a cuck, dude.
No,
So
I
to
need
get
you-
me
I need
from
you to
this to
engage
what
your
you're
brain.
saying, you're going to have to walk me
I
through
need
a
you to
lot of
engage
steps,
your brain with me,
collect
okay?
make
We're
a
gonna
lot of
walk
dots,
through these
and give me
things.
some pretty convincing
All right, well, we
arguments.
can
and
spend
evidence.
8 hours on the first semester.
That's
of
why I'm willing to
economics you
talk
never
about
got.
something else, because I
Yeah,
don't think it's going to
can
get
I think
accomplished.
No, we're not
Can
going
I
to talk
try
about
for a
that.
second,
I know
guys?
what I'm talking about here.
There's
I've done.
I think,
boys
Jeff,
to
you
switch
do
over.
acknowledge that prices are going up, right? You do acknowledge that.
Yeah, yes, I said inflation's been happening my
Okay.
whole life, but I
And-
said it's not. It doesn't seem like a conspiracy or an end of the world
Has
catastrophe.
it ever
what
turned
our
around?
concern, what most of our concern, at least mine, and I think the pattern that we've seen is that the increase has been an exponential one. So
I have noticed since
Increase
COVID.
in production could cause inflation. Increase in production
No,
costs
it wouldn't.
or
It would
increase in
not.
demand for production and services. And there are
Increase
three
in-
different types of
No,
inflation,
hold on.
Flaw is
allegedly.
smarter than all of these websites.
Pause.
So-
I want you to recognize that all of these things only cause temporary disruptions in market prices. They would stabilize when the market finds a new equilibrium. It would not turn into a perfect decline in the value of the dollar over time in all areas. Anybody got anything for that? What these are, they're describing temporary price disruptions. That's not inflation. Inflation is a different thing, and it is only caused by printing money and devaluing the dollar. When they print money into existence,
right? But these sources are telling me otherwise.
I've got a degree. You've got like the first line of a Google search.
Okay. What about the three main causes? Demand pull inflation, cost push inflation, and built-in inflation.
Sorry if I was an economics major.
Hey, Barbie,
Were you were too?
Yeah.
might be a little off class.
Okay,
here.
so that's you, top feed.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we've got two econ majors and Chat GPT or Wikipedia.
Okay, I know how to do research, so I can research this myself without relying on random panelists.
You are researching vagina.
That's one thing I am confident in. And I can think critically about
Mine's
them.
actually from.
Well, that's the thinking critically part is exactly what you're refusing to do.
It's what you're
No.
not doing. You won't even accept.
Part of thinking
Look, what does
critically is
inflation
vetting
mean?
your
When
sources.
when you inflate a balloon, what are you doing to a balloon?
Blowing it up.
Exactly. You're adding more to it. So if goods and services don't increase at a rate in equilibrium with the increase in the money supply, the money is thus worth less. It's mathematical. You can't even argue this. It's just a mathematical
So far,
truth.
what I got out of this cover is inflation. People are concerned about inflation.
Dude.
Well,
I'm
because
not.
you refuse to
You
even
know what? No, God bless you, dude. You did good.
you refuse to
You
even
did good.
acknowledge where you don't have the understanding.
No, I have acknowledged that. I said I don't. I even said you would know more about this than me. You were the banker.
Okay, then I'll
So
then I'll
there's
just
been
then I'll just
points
I'll
of
just
discussion
stop
where I have
asking you and I'll just
acknowledged
go
my
on.
limitations.
I'll just do a lecture here. Inflation is only caused by printing money over time, which it's not. See, you don't get to disagree, Jeff. Yeah, I see you down there. I'll bring you back up after I get this out. Inflation is only caused by printing money. I'm not talking about market disruptions or price volatility. Those are different things. It's only caused by printing money. When somebody prints money into existence, what they're doing is they're devaluing the existing dollar. So everybody who already has dollars, theirs worth less. They're literally extracting the value from your pockets. That is, they know they're doing it. They do it. It's. I'll put just you guys talk amongst yourself. I'll put some clips with Federal Reserve presidents talking about how they know what they do.
I just asked it if inflation is caused only by printing money, and it says while printing money, also known as increased money supply, can contribute to inflation, it's not the sole cause. You want me to believe you over this with all of his sources?
Over Google? Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Well,
they've changed. You can look up Milton Friedman. They've changed the definition of inflation over time just for dumb fucks like you right now. This is exactly why they changed definitions.
Okay, yeah. This
Literally
is
exactly.
I'm starting to see it now. Yes, you're right.
All right, touche. That was a pretty good response.
I mean,
that was a good response.
It's not all that simple to understand for people who haven't been invested in it. I don't blame you for being resistant to the idea that there's some sort of a conspiracy, but there always has been.
And then Flo also made the state like they know what they're doing. You don't know what they know. Like, how do you know what people?
I do because they talk about
point
it.
Of skepticism.
I do because I've learned about it. I've heard them talk about it.
Like
Jeff, I know this stuff because I've learned about